Okay, so we're looking at using the TI to find the inverse of a matrix. There are matrix formulas or inverse formulas that you can use, but for the purposes of this course, we are strictly just using our TI, but we will teach you later should you move on to the next math class. So the only thing you really want to worry about is just making sure you've entered your matrices in. Whether or not you like to enter them directly into the screen. Sometimes I use the alpha key for a shortcut because this one doesn't really involve using much calling up matrices. But for purposes to help everyone, depends on what type of calculator you have. I'm going to enter them in as A and B. I know they're not labeled as A and B as names, but they are part A and part B, so might as well. So I'm going to go through just entering them in using the matrix editor. So second X inverse. Just stay consistent. Most of the time you see me toggle around A and B. A is 2 by 2, so we are in good shape. In this case, A is -6, -3, 2, and 3. So that is good to go. We'll quit out of this. And while I'm here, I'm in the swing of things, I might as well edit matrix B as well. So matrix B is a 3 by 3. And we'll edit those in. See the entries 2, 3, -1, 0, 2, 4, and -2, 5, and 6. So just double check before we get out of the screen. 2, 3, -1, 0, 2, 4, -2, 5, and 6. So we are good to go. So we can say second mode to quit out. Now, what you can do is just call up your matrix, second X inverse. If you want to find the inverse of matrix A, call up the name. And I want to see it on the screen first. So press enter and you have it. And now while that's on the screen, all you have to do now is press the X inverse key. That's the one we've been using all the way along. It's right below the math key. And what will it tell you to do is it's going to take your previous answer, which is the matrix. It's going to ask you to find the inverse. That's what the inverse notation is. Press enter. And it has the inverse for you. However, sometimes when in decimal mode, like it's not as convenient for us to write and we don't have the exact answers. So what's really cool is you can utilize your TI just to turn the entries into fractions. Just press the math key and press item number 1. And it's going to turn whatever this matrix is into all fractions if it's possible. And you see right away it is. So that's super nice. So let's take a moment. We'll copy that onto the screen. Just so that I can write the answer down. So really, again, there's no work involved other than you do have to type it into your TI, but you don't really have to write out a lot of work other than what the answers are. So I'll copy and paste and see if it'll work for me. So I'll move it a little closer. I got to see a little bit. There we go. I'll do it over here while I'm here. Obviously, I know you can't copy your screen onto your paper, but the final answer that you would write the inverse. You don't want to say that it's equal, but the inverse would be rewritten as -1/4. And if you'd like, I'm giving you permission. I know some teachers don't like that. You could use the slash to help you out with the fractions, because I do realize it may get a little tedious with all, it actually uses a lot of paper. So this may be helpful as well. So that's the inverse for part A. So same story for part B. We shall do that. Let's switch back to our TI so we can see. And lucky for us, we already entered it in. So the only thing we have to do is call up matrix B. So second X inverse, matrix B. We just want to see it on the screen. And then now all you have to do is press the X inverse key. And that's taking the matrix that you see, finding the inverse, press enter, and you notice, there's a lot of numbers going on. So this is the matrix, and you kind of notice on some calculators, you might have had this already. When the matrix entries get really long, you have to press the arrow key to see the rest of the entries. So we do it. We still have a 3x3 matrix. But remember, the answers want to see if you can enter these in fraction form. And whenever I see repeating decimals, that's a really big heads up of, oh yeah, they can be converted. So let's do that. And if it can't, you'll know right away because the calculator will refuse to. So we're looking at pressing the math key, fraction, and then it's supposed to change this matrix into fraction entries. Cross our fingers. And now it's all visible on the screen. So that's super nice, super pretty. So let's copy that over just so that we can see that. And we'll write down our final answer for that. So in our case, at least in this class, it's really nice that the TI can be utilized for this. I'm going to move it a little closer so I can see it. And all we have to do is write the answer. So the inverse, I'll actually move it over a little bit. The inverse is equal to all the entries, 2 over 11, 23 over 44, -7 over 22, another 2 over 11, -5 over 22, 2 over 11, -1 over 11, 4 over 11, -1 over 11. And that's all there is to it. I hope this makes you happy. I'll see you in the next example.